Above the rooftops of Prague, the city sleeps peacefully, its cobblestone streets bathed in the soft glow of gas lamps. From the windows of the Grand Castle, Reinhard Heydrich looks out over the city he has claimed as his dominion. To the unknowing eye, he is the consummate officer, disciplined, precise, and striking in his bearing. Yet beneath the polished uniform lies a man whose very existence is entwined with terror. Families vanish in the night, synagogues smolder. Whispers of arrests and executions ripple through neighborhoods. And yet, in the quiet moments before dawn, Heydrich is a man of contradictions, a husband, a father, someone capable of warmth, capable even of laughter. But the city does not know that eyes watch him now, calculating, patient, waiting for a single misstep that could turn routine into catastrophe. From his rise in the German Navy to the pinnacle of the SS, Heydrich's life is a testament to ambition stripped of conscience. He navigates the corridors of power with ruthless efficiency, charming allies, intimidating foes, and leaving ruin in his wake. Each appointment, each order, each meeting advances the machinery of death he has built. The Czech lands are no longer just occupied, they are suffocated, transformed into a landscape of fear. People move carefully, speaking in hushed tones. Children learn early to freeze when soldiers pass. And in the midst of this, two young men, Gabčík and Kubiš, plot what seems impossible: to strike down the man whose shadow hangs over every home. The streets of Prague are silent now, but soon, this silence will be broken. Meanwhile, Heydrich's personal life offers fleeting glimpses of normalcy. In his study, he arranges flowers, a small luxury amidst chaos. His wife, Lena, laughs quietly at a joke. His children play in a garden untouched by the storm of war. Ordinary domesticity is a fragile veneer, a temporary shield from the monstrous duties outside. Yet routine is a weakness, a pattern that the assassins will exploit with patience and precision. As the city slumbers, ordinary citizens carry their own burdens, rationing food, hiding neighbors, whispering warnings. And unknown to them, a ripple of hope begins to form, quiet but insistent, like the first breath of wine before a storm. In Berlin and Prague alike, whispers circulate. Heydrich's methods are brutal, but can he truly be touched? What danger does the resistance dare to contemplate? Every alleyway could hide a weapon, every corner an ambush. And somewhere in the shadows, the men chosen for this perilous task ready themselves. Soon, their lives will collide with the butcher of Prague, and the consequences will reverberate far beyond any one street. Heydrich steps from his home, the sunlight catching the sharp lines of his uniform. For the people of Prague, today is just another day. But for Gabčík and Kubiš, every step he takes is a countdown, every glance a clue. The tension tightens, palpable even in the cold morning air. And then, from somewhere deep in the city, a quiet whisper of fate begins to echo, a plan that could change history or doom the brave men attempting it. If you're captivated by this story, make sure to hit subscribe and like this video. It helps more people discover the incredible human stories hidden within history and ensures the courage of ordinary people like Gabčík and Kubiš is never forgotten. For some, courage is born in exile. Jozef, Gabčík, and Jan Kubiš are not superheroes, they are young men shaped by loss and displacement. The Nazi occupation has stolen their homeland, but it cannot steal their resolve. Meeting first in Poland, then fighting alongside exiled units in France and Britain, they have endured harsh winters, grueling training, and the relentless uncertainty of war. They are ordinary men, carrying the weight of a nation's hope on shoulders that are still learning the feel of heavy weapons. When they are briefed on Operation Anthropoid, the mission to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich, a sense of solemn gravity settles over them. The target is not just a man, he is the embodiment of terror itself, a force responsible for the death of thousands, the despair of millions. Yet even with that knowledge, fear is a constant companion. Each man is haunted by what failure could mean not just for themselves, but for the people who might pay the ultimate price if their mission falters. And when the moment comes to parachute into occupied Czechoslovakia, winter's icy breath bites through the plane's metal hull. Snow blurs the ground below, the drop is off-target, rough. Gabčík lands hard, twisting an ankle. Kubiš falls into a tree, entangled in branches, his coat ripped by the unforgiving wind. The first taste of danger is immediate and unrelenting. They stumble into the countryside, their breaths forming clouds in the cold morning air, hearts racing not only from the fall, but from the knowledge that every step could be their last. Ordinary citizens, whose lives have already been disrupted by the occupation, risk everything to aid them. Gamekeepers bring bread and meat, millers provide temporary shelter, and families hide them from patrols, knowing discovery means certain death. Each act of kindness carries its own courage, and every choice the men make must balance survival with the moral imperative of their mission. But danger is never far. In one village, a German patrol passes mere meters from where Gabčík and Kubiš huddle beneath hay. Time slows. Every sound is amplified: the crunch of snow under boots, the distant rattle of a cart, a child's cough from a nearby farmhouse. The patrol moves on, oblivious, and the men allow themselves the briefest exhale, only to realize that the margin for error has never been smaller. The harshness of the environment tests not only their physical endurance, but their resolve. Snow clings to boots, frost bites exposed skin, and hunger gnaws relentlessly. Yet each hardship also hardens their determination. They memorize maps, rehearse movements, and remind each other of what is at stake: the people they love, the homeland they cannot return to freely, and the thousands under Heydrich's shadow of fear. Every step is both survival and preparation. The countryside offers moments of reflection, too. At night, beside a small fire, they think of the families they have left behind, of friends captured or killed, of cities under occupation. They talk in whispers, sharing fears, hopes, and memories that anchor them to their humanity. And in these quiet hours, the enormity of the mission becomes clear. Failure is not just personal. It could ignite brutal reprisals across Prague, claiming lives indiscriminately. Every decision, every delay, every breath matters. When they finally make their way toward the city, the landscape transforms from snow-dusted fields to narrow alleys, bustling squares, and the ever-watchful eyes of German soldiers. Prague is both a maze and a theater, and within it, every shadow could conceal the enemy, every passerby a threat or an ally. Gabčík and Kubiš step into this world aware that their mission may succeed, may fail, or may cost them everything. The air is tense. The city seems to hold its breath. And somewhere in the heart of Prague, Reinhard Heydrich continues his deadly routines, unaware that his life is being plotted against by ordinary men whose courage is extraordinary. Every street is a gamble, every second a life. Prague has become a labyrinth of fear and quiet defiance. Gabčík and Kubiš move like ghosts through its cobblestone streets, blending into marketplaces, cafes, and tram lines, watching, noting, memorizing. Heydrich's routines are precise, almost ritualistic: a motorcade at the same hour, a brief stop at the cathedral, a wave to familiar faces. Every detail matters. The assassin's survival depends on patience, timing, and the ability to transform ordinary observation into extraordinary action. Every passerby could be a threat, every guard a sentinel of death. One misstep could cost not only their lives, but those of the brave citizens hiding them, people who have already gambled everything to protect strangers in a city under siege. And yet, the stakes bring a strange clarity. Hunger gnaws, cold bites, but their minds are sharp, their mission unrelenting. Each day is a tightrope walk over a chasm of danger, and the slightest miscalculation could shatter not just their plan, but the fragile hope of a nation. The city itself seems alive, its alleys and squares both an accomplice and an adversary. Horse-drawn carts clatter along uneven stones, children chase a ball across quiet courtyards, and shopkeepers close windows against the bitter wind. Amid this ordinary bustle, the assassins move invisibly, their weapons hidden, explosives disguised, identities concealed beneath layers of clothing and false papers. Every glance exchanged between them is a silent calculation: timing, cover, escape routes. And above all, Every second weighs with the knowledge that Heydrich's life and the lives of thousands hangs in the balance. When Heydrich finally steps out for one of his familiar drives, the city's heartbeat quickens. The motorcade rolls slowly through Prague, the SS officers flanking the car like statues of menace. Gabčík positions himself, his palms sweating, mind racing, fingers brushing the cold metal of his weapon. But the moment falters, the gun jams, the seconds stretch into eternity. Kubiš, reacting instantly, lobs a grenade. Chaos erupts. The streets explode in a cacophony of shouts, the metallic clang of armor, and the terrified screams of civilians caught in the crossfire. The attempt, though flawed, leaves the city in shock. Guards scramble, civilians scatter, and Heydrich is wounded but alive, his driver frantically maneuvering through the crowded streets. Gabčík and Kubiš vanish into the shadows, adrenaline and fear surging through their veins. The streets that once seemed predictable are now a maze of pursuit and evasion. Every corner may conceal a patrol, every window a set of eyes watching for escapees. The city itself has turned into a living trap, forcing them to improvise constantly, to stay one step ahead of death. In the aftermath, the human cost becomes painfully clear. Families of those suspected of aiding the assassins face brutal reprisals. Neighbors vanish overnight, entire villages tremble under the weight of collective punishment. The assassins carry both relief and guilt, their mission partially complete, but at a cost they cannot fully measure. Yet even in despair, they find determination. The resistance watches, learns, and adapts. Ordinary people, like themselves, continue to weave courage into every quiet act of defiance. And in this tense, shadowed city, the story of two men attempting the impossible continues. The danger has not passed, the consequences are mounting, and the city holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. If you're following this story and feeling the tension with every step, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It helps others uncover the human stories behind history and ensures that the bravery of Gabčík, Kubiš, and the countless others who risked everything is never forgotten. Courage does not guarantee victory. May 27, 1942, dawns with deceptive calm. Spring sunlight spills over the quiet streets of Prague, where children play, shopkeepers sweep the cobblestones, and the city hums with routine. Reinhard Heydrich, the butcher of Prague, departs his home after a brief morning with his children, a rare moment of tenderness, and steps into the waiting car. He does not know that two young men, ordinary in every outward way, have positioned themselves for the strike that could change the course of history. Every second ticks with anticipation, every breath is weighted with consequence. Gabčík grips his weapon, heart pounding, mind sharp with months of preparation. He steps into the street. And then the unthinkable, the gun jams, time slows. His training, his courage, the hopes of a nation all hinge on the next few seconds. Kubiš acts with instinctive precision, lobbing a grenade toward the motorcade. The explosion shatters the morning calm, hurling debris into the street and sending guards scrambling. Civilians scream, ducking behind carts and fences. The assassin sees the chaos to vanish into the labyrinth of Prague, adrenaline driving every step. Heydrich survives, gravely wounded, but the consequences of the attack are immediate and severe. The Nazis, enraged, launch reprisals with brutal efficiency. Families are executed, villages razed, and citizens live in terror of the next knock on the door. The weight of resistance has never been more tangible, courage carries cost, and the human price is staggering. Yet Gabčík and Kubiš, despite the trauma surrounding them, continue their escape, navigating streets alive with danger, where every face could betray them and every shadow conceal a trap. The city of Prague becomes a theater of suspense. Guards patrol relentlessly, informants watch from windows, and the hunted men slip from alley to alley, using every ounce of skill and cunning. Hunger, fatigue, and fear gnaw at them, but the mission, though imperfect, is a testament to extraordinary bravery. They are ordinary men achieving the impossible, fighting not for glory, but for justice, for a homeland under siege, and for the thousands whose lives Heydrich has sought to destroy. In the days following the attack, the human stories multiply. Families mourn those executed in reprisals. Citizens quietly help the fugitives, risking their lives for acts of simple humanity. The moral weight of resistance becomes inescapable. Every choice carries consequences that ripple far beyond the immediate battle. Yet, even in the shadow of tragedy, hope flickers. The world witnesses that tyranny can be challenged, that ordinary people can alter history, and that courage persists even when victory is not guaranteed. Ultimately, Operation Anthropoid is remembered not just for the attempt on Heydrich's life, but for the bravery of those who dared to act when most would have remained passive. Gabčík and Kubiš become symbols of resistance, their story a reminder of the human cost of war, the fragile balance between life and death, and the extraordinary courage of ordinary individuals. Prague, scarred but resilient, continues under occupation, each citizen carrying the memory of those who risked everything to confront a monster. The echoes of that day endure, a testament to sacrifice, strategy, and the human spirit. Lives were changed forever, some lost, some forever marked by the courage they witnessed, and all shaped by the moral imperative to act against tyranny, no matter the cost. The shadow of war stretches across history, but so does the light of bravery and resilience.